Okay, everybody, I just wanted to share something with everybody out there. I thought it was kind of interesting and some good information for folks out there who like to collect things based on the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. But you know, it's nothing major, but I think it's something that's kind of interesting. So the book you saw in the intro that I had the graphic up for, Thor issue number 229. Now I don't actually own that issue, so I just had to grab the image to show what it looked like to show everybody that particular comic book. Okay, and here's the story. So to start with, I like to collect first appearances, like everybody does. But I like the first appearances also that are in books that maybe maybe some people might have a debate as to whether they're comic books or whether it's even a first appearance. You know, I like what some people call a true first appearance. You know, give me a sketch design of a character in a book. You know, maybe maybe in a previews magazine, which we all know that I like previews magazine or previews Marvel's previews comic book. But you know, something that shows the character before the character actually hits the main comic book. To me, I enjoy those, to collect those books, because that's the first time you're seeing an image of that character. It's the first time you're seeing the image of the character. First time you're seeing their name. Like before that, you didn't even know who or what that was, but something about that character popped. You're like, man, that guy, that gal looks really cool. I want to pick up that issue. It drives you to want to get that book when it comes out on the shelf. So I think that does matter. Some people they don't like that, but I do think it matters. I mean, if you pick up a Marvel Age back in the day and you see a picture of a Spider-Man in a black costume, that's going to spark you to want to go out there and pick it up once that issue of Secret Wars or Amazing Spider-Man comes up. So that's why I like those little hidden first appearances like that, and they are hidden because people don't really look for them. You know, when you look for a lot of time on these information magazines about comic books, they'll give you the actual first appearance in the comic book. They'll even give you the cameo, which I to this day I don't understand that. A character appearing in a comic book is a character appearing in a comic book, whether he's a 1 panel, 2 panels, 3 panels. But that's another story for another day, and that's another conversation we'll have. But regardless of that, so that all said, a little background. I have this book here, Marvel Premiere Iron Fist, okay, from November 19th. Now, what happened was, in this book, and at the time, there were 2 other books that were released as well, at the same time, November 19th, that same month. And in those books, they had an appearance in an ad, okay? And in that ad was an appearance of Wolverine. It was the ad for the famous Hulk 181, okay? And they had the ad in the magazine, in the comic book, in the very back. So, at the time when I found out about this, I had to pick it up because, it's an easy buy. It's not expensive. It's not 181. It's not, tens of thousands of dollars to get. And it'd be kind of cool to have, what is kind of the first, published image of Wolverine. Now, there might be another one out there about, I guess someone had a design back in the day, but, we'll talk about it once again at another time. But just for this video, okay, for this video, the 3 books that came out were this issue of Marvel Premiere, Thor 229, the one you saw in the intro, okay, and also Daredevil 115, I believe it was, okay. Now, when I had to choose at the time, I wanted to get one of those 3 books. I wanted to pick one. I didn't want to get all 3. It made no sense. So I was trying to figure out which one I should pick up. Now, the Daredevil one didn't really have anything going for it. There wasn't anything really happening in that issue. So I kind of went right past that one. Then I went to this one because this one is the first appearance of Colleen Wing. Now, Colleen Wing, of course, Darth the Dragon, along with her Misty Knight, have been mainstays in Iron Fist mythology since the beginning, basically. They made their way onto TV, onto Netflix. So Colleen Wing is an actual established Marvel character. Okay, so I figured, okay, well, cool. I'm going to get the first appearance of Colleen Wing, and then a first appearance, a true first, whatever you want to call it, with Wolverine in it. Okay, but now I might have picked the wrong book, because Thor 229 has, I'm not sure if it's an appearance or mention of a character, okay, and that character is definitely part of the MCU. I'm not going to tell you where, when. You're going to have to kind of look it up, maybe, if you're interested, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but that character is in the MCU. That character's out there, okay? And that character's mentioned, and I don't have the issue, so I'm not sure how much they showed of the character, if there was even, like, but definitely that was the start of that character's origin, basically, okay? So that book had both that character, and it had the image of Wolverine in it as well in the ad, okay? So that's Thor number 229. So if anybody's interested in Thor 229, I'm going to show you what the ad looks like in there with Wolverine. Okay, let's just open this up real quick. Okay, whoops. As usual, I'm doing this with one hand because I'm not a professional YouTuber. Okay, so here you go. There's the ad. And as you can see, it has both images. The image from Hulk 180, the panel, the end panel, and then the cover image of Wolverine that's so famous, that everyone loves, that's been paid homage to many times in covers, which I think is just the classic Wolverine cover. So right there, it's showing you everything you need to know. From the wilderness reaches of Canada comes a dreaded, deadly Wolverine. But is he hero or is he supervillain? Pretty cool stuff, Hulk 181, an ad for Hulk 181. Who would have thought back then that book would have been just massive? Maybe someone knew that Wolverine was going to be hot, because I tell you what, they gave him a little spread here, basically. They picked that book to highlight of all the books coming out that month. So it's a pretty important book, I guess. I mean, important as far as comic books are concerned. I mean, comic books, are comic books. They're not important in the sense as far as everything else is concerned, but in the collecting medium, it is pretty important. Okay, so that's what you'll find. This is what you will find in Thor 229. Okay, you'll find this same ad in that issue. Okay, make sure if you do buy that book, it does have the value stamp, because the value stamps used to be cut out all the time, and that reduces the value of the comic book because it's considered incomplete. Not too bad, but if it's a blockbuster book and it's worth thousands of dollars, it's not going to really affect you that much. But if it's a book that's only worth, say, $60-50, it can make a pretty big ding on it. Okay, but that's what you're going to find when you get that book. And like I said, you're going to find also in that issue some information, some alluding to a character that is in the MCU right now. Okay. And like I said, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but dig around a little bit. Go grab the book, grab your old DVDs, Blu-rays, your Disney Plus, and maybe I won't tell you where to find it, but trust me, he or she, it is definitely in the MCU, and that character does get its start in Thor 229. So Thor 229 is not a bad pickup. I don't think it's a bad pickup at all. I don't think it's that expensive a book, but at least you get that pretty cool ad with Wolverine in it, plus you get an MCU connection. Okay, just want to show that to everybody out there. Just something I found out this week, and I just wanted everyone to know about it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And we will talk again next time. Have a good evening.